Yeah, this is Bruce, N6THN here in Wacky Vackyville.
I'm Bruce, N6THN, and I don't know if you know it or not, but in January this year, around the middle of the month, I packed up my camper trailer and my wife and took off from Vacaville and moseyed on down Highway 5 to Quartzsite, Arizona, which is a big ham radio gathering that's a week long. So it says, Google says it's 660 miles, 10 hours and 31 minutes. If you do the speed limit, 70. But I was towing, so it took me more like 14 hours. I stopped off here around the LA area in Palm Springs for one night to recover. And one other night in the LA area near a lake where my wife had friends. I went through the Joshua Tree area. This is Palm Springs right here. Crossed the border through, what is it, Blythe, Doug?
Yes, at the border, yep.
Blythe, gassed up, came into town, Quartzsite, filled up my rig with water and came down here to the BLM land, which is about 5 miles south. And this is an aerial view. And the route I came in, this is Blythe over here. You come in through this hot freeway in the middle of the desert, and this is beautiful Quartzsite. And you take a right-hand turn right here, and you come down Old 95 towards Yuma, Arizona. If you keep going on 10, Phoenix is over here. So that gives you about where we are. So we're in Arizona. Up north is Vegas. So we came into town. And that's what it looks like on an aerial view. It's all deserty, there's no trees, there's just scrubby, hard-packed sand. You can walk on it, ride a bike on it. It's really hard-packed out in the desert. First time I've ever been there. So this is the first stop in LA. We stopped at a lake, that's my rig, and we just stopped because I was too tired to drive anymore. And then this is Palm Springs. This is what it looks, and I don't know why they call it Palm Springs, but it's got these funny looking trees there. So driving down the main drag of Palm Springs. And then I stopped in the Aviation Museum and jumped in the cockpit of one of the twin engine planes they had on display and goofed around and acted official and then kept going. Said, all right, we got to keep going. We're going to the Hamfest. And then right outside is a MiG-15. Okay, so there you go. So when you pull into Quartzsite to get ready for the Hamfest, everybody says there's no water, there's no garbage, there's no bathrooms, there's no
Showers.
Anything down in the desert. You're boondocking. So there's a place in town for RVers to line up, and it actually took about 5 minutes, that's all. They've got these pump stations, they've got about 8 of these pump stations. And you bring your rig in, and you pay them like $2 or $3, fill up your tank, and leave.
Water tank.
Fill up your water tank.
Propane tank.
And they sell propane and everything there. And then as I'm going through town, and I look to the side, there's some buttes, but I said to the wife, God, I have never seen so many darn motorhomes parked out in the desert. I'm just going crazy. Can you guys see this, or do you want me to turn these lights out? Would you like the lights out, anybody? Or is there a glare? Because I've got a glare. All right. So what we ended up finding out is when you come into Quartzsite, there was 3 events going at the same weekend. Next one. There's the RV show.
Big tent.
Huge tent right here. And all these people parked to go to the RV show to get their deals and stuff. The next one is the Rock and Mineral show. And the next one is the Quartzsite Hamfest. So this is the RV. The mineral show is right next to it. And now I found this dirt road, and my GPS said these were the coordinates to pull into the BLM land. So I just guessed, and I came into this dirt road and started pulling in, and I saw some wider spaced out trailers, not as congested as in town. These trailers were wider spaced out. So I go, okay. So then I saw good news. There's a guy with an antenna. And I go, oh, this must be it. There's no sign or anything, so it started coming in. Go ahead. And then I saw more antennas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I go, okay, this got to be a bunch of crazy hams. And then I saw this guy has solar panels, antennas, flags, all kinds of stuff. So I ended up finding that this was the main drag. Typical picture. And I pulled over and parked. This is my wife's head. And just pulled up to a bush. And I had about 100-foot diameter circle around me. So, okay, looked cool. It's an unmarked spot. No table, no fireplace, no signage. You just stop in the desert. It's nice and flat. And you had better bring all your food and water and electricity when you show up there. And this is me set up. I've got the generator in the back of the truck and a little power cord run into the back of the trailer. And this is my HF antenna screwdriver system. And this is the other part of my HF antenna that goes about 30 feet high. And that leads me to this box that's here on the table. As I built this box to bring it in the trailer, is a Yaesu 857D radio, MFJ 300 watt HF tuner, and this is a 300 watt linear amp. So you just take your mic out. This is on the trailer. It takes up a very small footprint, about the size of a piece of paper on the kitchen table. And away you go. This is a watt meter, amp meter up here. This is made out of furniture grade 3/4 inch ply. And I verithaned it. Am I going to knock anything over? And the back, there's this pull pin, this aluminum rod I pulled in. So you pull that aluminum rod out and it releases all these shelves, all 3 of them. So if the radio needs service, you pull the pin. If the tuner needs service, etc., etc. There's only 2 hookups in the trailer that I've already got pre-wired. 12 volts on these power poles. These are Anderson power poles. So I just hook up 30 amps into there. And then on this one, I've got pre-wired under the floor in the trailer is a coax popping up. So I have just 2 connections to make, and I'm on the air. This is a distribution block. This is an 8-way distribution block for power. So I've got speaker, active speaker, radio, tuner, amp, and screwdriver switch here. Raise it up, lower it down. Raise it up, lower it down. So that's kind of the go kit, and then I can put it away after we're done hamming it up, and then I can use the kitchen table again. Keep peace with the wife. So that's the back view. These are some military poles, and the screwdriver starts right there and goes up, and then in this configuration I've got it hooked up to a long wire to that fiberglass pole. This is the TV antenna, bow tie antenna, and that's about it for that. And when you come into Quartzfest, you get this welcoming center, sign in, and there was a line. There's your typical cactus. And they've got computers going on inside. Special events station, just like ham radio, big time things. And this is some of the line and some of the people to sign in. And then this guy shows up. Does anybody recognize this guy? Has anyone seen this guy?
My name tag would help.
This guy, hold your hand up. This guy pulls up in his is it Cherokee?
Yeah.
This guy pulls up in his Cherokee. I go, hey, you're Vacaville? Yeah, Vacaville here. Do we know each other? Yeah, radio club? Yeah. We went down there separately together. We didn't even know each other was going down there. But back in the back, there's a fire pit, and people were encouraged to bring boxes of wood. And then there's the mini Burning Man.
Burning ham.
Burning ham. people were coming up and writing their call sign on it. So, and more call signs. So I see, oh, there's some 6s, KK6, MPV, you know, so keep going. Oh, okay, pitches are out of order. Yeah, don't fall into that. I put a sign up on my trailer in case any other wanderers by, like Doug, wanted to pop in and say hello, so I printed those up. Nice sunset. My campsite, my wife, on her phone. Then we went into the camper exhibition tent area, which is like about 100 yards long. So you see it's a typical flea market stuff for campers. And more selling, more buying. It was packed. General layout outside. They did big rig service. They did, like it says, alignment here. They actually took in and did major repair on the spot. They set up hydraulic lifts. We're working on several rigs at once. Then, when I got back, then I found the sign. You know, so there was a sign there somewhere. I just didn't see it. And, oh yeah, this is the auger, and we're drilling holes in the ground to put up these posts so we could put up these signage boards. So I helped them do the auger and the filling. And then the wind system guys showed up. The guys on 220 with that intertie system, they put one of their nodes here so we can get in and talk to the world. And then this guy, I just took a picture like going, wow. He's got like 1.2 gigahertz here, little tiny short antenna, and then he's got a halo there. So I don't know what he was even doing, but probably something to do with video. And then this guy, you don't see this every day going down the road, a camper with a loop antenna on the roof.
Watch out for the overpass.
Either that or motorcycles jump through there on fire or something. But I think this is the matching section here with the coax. So he drives it, gets out on HF, stealthy. And what about this for blending into the campground?
Wow.
Can't even tell anything. That looks normal to me. Okay.
Hiding in plain sight.
You guys wanted to see what Quartzfest is like. I'm showing you. Keep going. Vertical and others. Window line. And then a multi-band, who knows what, on the back of his truck. He's got like 4 bands. So you think these guys were radio nuts? Here's an Airstream motorhome. It's actually an Airstream with an engine in it. And I didn't know what these 3 gadgets were. And he's got a screwdriver here for his window antenna. Something else going on the back. You know, crazy hams. What are you going to do?
Aiming device.
This guy had satellite TV, W6GZI. And then he had this V cradle. He came out. He saw me looking at his trailer. He came out and I go, I'm just looking at your trailer. What the hell is this big motor doing here? He goes, that operates my hinge. And I go, what? He goes, yeah, that's a dish, like a 3-meter dish aiming device motor and jack stand. And he's got it hinged up here. And see that V groove? And there's another one. He goes like this. So inside his trailer, he's got a switch to go lay the antenna down the whole length of his motorhome, or put it up. He could do it out in the rain. Remote control. So that's the what do they call that? The jack screw or worm drive?
Lead screw. Jack screw.
Lead screw. Okay. 12 volt, and it operates a hinge, an arm. And that big 27-foot antenna goes flat down on his roof. He drives away. Then this guy drives over a plate with his wheel and puts his pole into it, and then he ties it off to something. The antenna's all over the place, so I fit right in. And then they had a ladies ham girl thing, put your call sign on it. And they had ladies events there, sewing and stuff. And beading. Then a guy brought a pair of the Harbor Freight generators and he paralleled them. And he got this parallel box and he paralleled both of these and fires them both up, and they ran a whole week. Neither of them broke down, so thumbs up to Harbor Freight. They were real quiet.
Not only that, they give a good sine wave too.
Oh, good. And those generators were running these laptops in the check-in tent. Okay. So we went in and checked in, let them know where we are, our name, our call sign, where we're from. And we had, how many, Doug? We had 800?
950, I think.
We had some huge amount of crazy hams showed up. That's that Airstream again with another antenna of some kind. And then this vehicle shows up.
Urban assault vehicle!
That's it.
Urban Assault GMC with a Toronado front-wheel drive.
It's either a 42060s or 455s.
They were built over in Napa at one time.
You guys got to know about that, okay?
I used to have one.
And then there's the power plant, and if I understand it right, the whole back end unscrews, and the back panel comes off, and they can slide in modules or take them out. That's how they service it.
Yep. That is my motorhome, by the way.
I forgot to say,
And
that is Doug's motorhome.
And it will never look like that again. Because I got it painted and it's a bright yellow.
Alright, it's a big yellow guy. This is one of the ham meetings. These are the students in the nearby high school, and they each are hams. They've all got call signs, and they all built radios. Their radios are micro miniature, and they were hidden in these little dolls and things. That girl hid hers in that flower. And they're fox hunt radios. They go beep, beep, beep on 145 something. Cool. So each one of those is students. This is a handmade antenna that one of them made. It's a circular one, way above my knowledge. Go ahead. But it looks like that. It's got SMA to N and a feed horn, and it looks like it's made out of a measuring cup or something, but away it goes. And this is Gordon West, WB6NOA. You hear him on the radios. He's an author. And these are the students and their projects. So he's looking at the flower, the hidden flower radio. And this guy put it in an elephant, that guy put it in a case, and so on and so on. The whole table they all built radios and then crystal controlled. Now you see WB6NOA, that's Gordon West, and who's this strange guy? N6THN right there. There's my mark. It's out in the desert. I was there. Gilroy was here. So we got the billboards put up. We drilled the holes. We sunk the wood. And this is kind of like the sign-in area for events. Then I just started walking around taking pictures of the goofy vehicles. You can kind of go through these. I took this because of Kim. I think this guy's trailer has more antennas than Kim, but
Kim's house.
we have to check. Go ahead. He has all that going on, and I took a picture of inside here. Go ahead.
It's an air turbine.
Now, how do you like that one?
Ooh,
Huh?
that's nice.
All right. Now we have these seminars where we all got around and talked about the best coax, the best antennas, the best radios, the best Wi-Fi, the best digital. What is a digital node? What is
Raspberry Pi.
just every type of class? There was 120 classes, and they were all 1 hour long. So this is just one of them.
two of them consecutively were televised on amateur TV.
Right. They had amateur TV on channel 58 and 59. I saw this cactus with two peace signs, so I decided to make a peace sign right underneath it. Sign in. This is just the, you're coming onto government property. Go ahead. It's Quartzsite, Arizona, and I don't know what long-term something or other area. And the city is up here, and this is the area we're allowed to camp in. Four-wheel drive, motorcycle, sit around, have fires, pull your trailer. As long as you clean up your mess and leave it the way you found it. Everything you haul in, you haul out. Okay, so that's just an area of the map. Here's another seminar on digital, and I think this one was on mesh radio. But keep going. And I think some of you know what this is a transcoder, am I right? Yeah.
Yes.
It's a shark, and they had a seminar on this and others. It took the Ethernet, hooked to Wi-Fi, and hooked that to the internet. Some more routers. Go ahead. Then they had a gold panning class. This guy walked back there with a shovel of sand, brought it up, put it in these buckets, and guess what he found? Go ahead. That's his tool, prospecting stuff. This is an automatic one that spins. The heaviest stuff goes up here, and the light stuff falls into this pan. It's motorized. Anyhow, I'm sorry, the picture doesn't show, but there's several little shiny chunks of gold mixed in with this stuff. I think my computer's blowing up. Can you back up a little bit? Okay, there's the gold. Sorry the picture doesn't show, but there is 4 or 5 chunks of gold in there, flakes. Okay, next one. Then for the ladies, there was basket weaving, and I mean, they were professional. They were serious about this. Go ahead. And all these little parts and things, and she's weaving, the dogs are watching, and there's a whole classroom of these ladies that aren't interested in radio, but they took up these other hobbies. Go ahead. There you go. Typical setup. That reminded me of your antenna, Don. Your R9. This is the smallest darn generator that I can remember seeing. This little 350 watt charging a battery. But it was running the radio with all the stuff, the antennas on the roof, the trailer. Go ahead. And then the guy had a Honda with a 6-gallon tank. Multiply that for 5 hours per gallon, you got like 30 hours. This is a special event tent. You could come in and operate if you wanted to. And this is inside the trailer. The guy with all the antennas on there, he's got this Heil boom mic, and I don't know what all this stuff is, but that's a tuner. He's got a Spectrum there, radio. He's got his band plan. He's doing check-ins. Go ahead. Yeah. He's power supply. He's just going for it. The trailer was just outfitted with tons of stuff. Then I thought of Brian with this one. Is that you?
Yep.
Were you there?
No.
No? It's a 5-band antenna.
Yep.
Is that a hex beam?
No.
What's it called?
Non-terminated folded dipole.
Unterminated folded
Or a
dipole.
spider.
Looks like a cobweb almost.
So basically, it's all halfway dipole.
All
If you
right.
look on the right hand, that's just rope, so it's non-conductive that ties the ends together.
And this is the resonant.
Yep.
Yeah, it's folded.
And there's an actual coil inside that actual junction box right there.
Here or here?
The first location, left side.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's like a cobweb, isn't it?
Anyhow, he had that on his trailer. Inconspicuous, eh? Okay. Next one. So, this tent, they had a projection screen and a video projector here, and they were doing PowerPoints on all kinds of stuff all day for 7 days. Then, this is my trailer, the inevitable happened. My tank filled up. My tank's filled up. What do I do? I had to call the porta potty guy, and he ran this hose over to the trailer. I stood back and let it go. Pull a plug.
They charge you.
I think it was 25, 30. Yuma Hamfest. Anyone been to that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know who was.
I don't know. Then they had cast iron cooking with all these hooks and chains and cast iron pots and stuff. Check this out. Look at these hammers and stuff. Look at these, like blacksmith made all this stuff. Go ahead. Then, voila, out of this pot with charcoal and the lighter and the cast iron thing comes fresh baked bread. And he was nice enough to cut it up, and we all had a slice. Another group meeting talking about something. Now we get down to eating. Group buffet lines. So we're making these goofy things with some dough and some sticks, and you'll see what they look like. They look like that. Anybody ever seen those things? They're called Wazpuckers or Waznickers.
Sound like corn dogs?
Kinda.
Corn dogs without the dog.
You pour sausage and you cook them, and then they're hollow, and then you pour down hamburger meat and spices and salad stuff, and you make kind of a burrito out of them. All right, this guy had a spiral wound antenna. I thought it was kind of interesting, but he says the tighter you wind it or the looser you wind it changes the frequency of it. So I took a picture of it.
Was it spiral around the vertical, or?
Yeah, it was spiral around the fiberglass pole.
I've got one I'll show you. It's a spiral around, but it looks like the Princess Leia, they're round around out here. You know?
Oh yeah, like this?
Yeah, they're round around vertical out here, and they're separated, and you can put up, you can mount them either this way or this way, vertical or horizontal mounted.
Well, they didn't have one of those.
Well, take a project out of it.
My neighbor shows up with 2 off-road dirt bikes. They were kind of cool.
Kind of like tote goats.
Yeah, and they say Coleman, and they had like 6 horsepower motors on them and wide tires. Go ahead. Oh, this is the Jeep rally. One day we lined up from here to infinity, and everybody with their Jeep, we went out in the desert and goofed off. Go ahead. And then my Jeep was lucky enough to get that done to the tire and get one of these cactuses in the sidewall. But we had to take a pair of pliers. Were you behind us, Doug?
Yeah, I was following you. Feeling grateful I didn't hit those.
We had to take a pair of pliers and pull each one out because they're way into the tire. We made it without a flat. This is the source of the cactus.
Show you a cactus.
Doug,
That's my pizza shirt.
he keeps showing up everywhere. KC7ADD Doug from Vacaville. We're going out to these bluffs to have lunch. What else do you do when you drive 4-wheel drive? You drive to go eat. So these mountains, and we went out for a hike. We went on a trail. Go ahead.
What was the temperature?
70, 65, 70. And then we climbed some rock. Then we came back and saw some more cactus and talked about our Jeeps and talked more about our Jeeps. And then this guy came out of a flying saucer. This is Doug again. I posed him like that. Okay, more goofing off. This was the pinnacle of our trip. We went up to a mountaintop to see a transmitter of some kind. So, go ahead. So that's how tall it was. If you stand sideways, you can see. And then, that night we flew drones. This guy's got a drone. This guy's got a drone. This guy's got a drone. I brought my drone. Everyone's flying around.
Nobody did this on the drone, little transmitter.
They have a video camera right here. It's a pan, tilt, zoom video camera. Go ahead. Then this jet fighter drone. And then this was the sacrificial bonfire on the last night. We're almost done. They packed up all the spare firewood in cardboard boxes and gloves and drew face on this. And they torched this poor guy. Oh, and then the moon came out. That's my camera through a telescope, just holding it to the eyepiece. All right, there's the guy. There's the cardboard box guy. And we're all sitting around. This is close to the last day now. This is a talk on refrigeration. Anybody who has an RV has an absorption refrigerator. This is the boiler out of an absorption refrigerator that uses ammonia. And this is a rotted out one. And there's a coffee pot to explain the process of circulating ammonia. So that's a refrigerator controller he was selling. That's the diameter of the ammonia pipe. And that's the pump. And it's a passive pump. There's no moving parts. It's just done by heat and bubbling. And the bubbles carry fluid with the bubbles. And the fluid rise up that pipe about 5 feet. And condense and cool and freeze your freezer. Motorcycles using this a tabletop with 12-volt battery. I met these two lady engineers. They actually do work on rockets, real rockets, and they're hams. They built this antenna with the tuning cap down here. It's driven by this loop up here. This is a vacuum variable cap. Now they're talking to some satellites going by. This is a cross-polarized Yagi. Part of it is vertical, and the other part, as you can see, is horizontal. And they actually talked to a satellite passing over. Then they had a sing-along. These guys here did country music. This is the sound mixer guy. The rest of them are the musicians, the talent. And then I got to sit in front of a Flex Maestro, the 6400. Anyone know?
Something like that.
64,000. Anyhow, the Flex radio, it's a digital radio. This is the waterfall. I'm on 20 meters. And I was thrown off because you had to do this to change frequency. You had to do this thing. And then you had to do the finger zoom, like zoom. And then you had to do this to bring it together. And I'm not used to that. So I don't know if anyone has a Flex Maestro, but it was hard for me to handle how to move the band scope around and things. It did not have a keypad. Let's see the next picture. See, there is no keypad. So you can't say start frequency 1400, stop frequency 14350, to see the band scope. You have to do this two-finger drag or zoom or stretch. And I never could get, see, there's the end of the band right there, 14360, and I tried to get 14350 to appear here, and it always kept jumping on me. So I never really got the hang of using this touch screen radio, but there it is.
It's a dual band, right?
It's HF. It's all digital.
160.
These are the lady engineers, and then next one. This guy keeps showing up all the time. That's Doug again. Doug.
My 2 radios.
Anyhow, here's the lady selling her jam. And this is the last day. We had a flea market. We had a swap meet. All this junk on tables and stuff, power supplies on the floor, junk on tables, back of pickups, tubing, cute girls in magazines.
Wow.
You know.
CB Magazine.
Yeah. A road talker.
Sears.
Right, this over here is the road talker. This is the Cobra.
138 or 148 on the right.
Woohoo! Both rows were flea market. This row going down, this row coming back. Out in the middle of the desert. And then this rack of stuff. I took this for you, Kevin. I don't know what any of this stuff is. But he had stuff in the rack. He said it was part of a repeater. Then it had some Motorola stuff. Don't know what they are. I took the picture out of focus. So this guy took this trailer, brought all this junk in and selling stuff. Then this guy has a propeller that spins a cam that operates a hand that goes like this onto the ham key. So cool. And then this is the antenna.
That's so cool.
And that is a water tank that looks like an elephant. So I just thought I'd take that. There's where I got stuck. It doesn't look bad in that shot. I keep going. One of my tires came up off the ground and I couldn't get any traction in this gravel.
Four-wheel drive.
And then
They have fixes for that. Four-wheel drive.
yeah, I made the wife push. Okay,
Walker, engage.
we can just go through these. This is inside the swap meet. Batteries, adapters for your wheels, Supergirl, crock pots for cooking, cast iron cooking,
Oh, yeah.
selling stuff. Kevin, I took this for you. Funnel cakes and corn dogs.
Indian tacos.
Yeah. This is the inverter section. I was drooling over. These are all sine wave inverters.
Wow.
Every one of them is a sine wave inverter. And they started on this one for 55 bucks, 200 for the 1,000 and on up. Then the generator people were there generating. We carry pepper spray. We carry stun guns. We carry concealed weapons. Do you want to buy your concealed weapon handbag? Women can carry concealed weapons in their purse. I thought I'd take a picture of that because, holy cow. Wheel bearings. That's for you, Brian. This is a tire pressure calibration gauge. This is an instrument to put on your, well, here's a gauge right here. There's your chuck, your tire chuck. You put it, here's one right here. You put your unknown chuck on that, and this operates, and this is set at 100 right now, but you can calibrate. The guy was calibrating tire gauges there for free. And the two ladies that were engineers next to me, I said, what are you doing? They just bought a AMCOMM 7300. This is the last picture. And I go, how do you stop all the interference from all the other hams that are around here? There's like 800. There's 800 hams in this campground. What do you do to stop it? Does the 7300 handle it okay? And they go, yeah, it handles it great. But I also built this 80, 40, 20, and 10 meter filter. She wound her own coils, soldered her own caps in. She made it on her own circuit board. And all she does is hook the antenna here and here, and she's on 40. And she also has an input here for SO239 too. But these two ladies next door to me, in their 30s, a couple of girls, are building stuff like that. Thank you very much. That was Quartzfest 2018.